In a zoo, a guy was standing in front of an elephant cage. Masato wanted to see the elephant, whose name is Hanayo, closely, but the guard refused to let him enter the cage because it could be dangerous. Masato said that he is Hanayo's friend and came here for a reunion, but the guard called it nonsense and refused to let him enter. At that moment, another zookeeper arrived there who was really friendly with Masato. He opened the cage and let Masato enter. Surprisingly, the elephant didn't attack Masato and let him pet it. The zookeeper was really shocked seeing an animal this friendly. So, the other guy explained that Masato befriended Hanayo in kindergarten. After a while, Masato left the cage and went to see other animals with his friend, the zookeeper. While walking, they talked to each other about their past, like how Masato had to move to a different place because of his parents' work, and now after 7 years, he has come back. The zookeeper also remembered that when Masato was a kid, he had always been oddly surrounded by animals. Next, the zookeeper apologized to Masato because this zoo is now a lot different. He explained that right after Masato moved away, they changed the zoo director. The new director made a few changes to the policy, and it seems like the customers are pleased with that, but because of those changes, the animals are always under surveillance all day and night. At that moment, Masato noticed a wound on the zookeeper's hand and asked if Hanayo caused this. The zookeeper was about to tell him that this wound was caused by another one when an announcement started playing through the speakers. Zoo director, Nobuta, first welcomed everyone to Fuji Safari Park. Nobuta assumes that his animal friends are also doing well and said that in order to bring their customers an extraordinary experience, here in Fuji Safari World, they are doing as best as they can to keep the animals in the best shape at all times. Nobuta also talked about the fangs of the lion named Leo and also mentioned some other animals. After hearing the announcement, Masato and zookeeper Nakata weren't happy because the animals aren't really in the best shape. Then, Masato told Nakata that he's going to bring his childhood friend named Hitomi to this zoo tomorrow. Before Nakata said anything, he received a call from the director and had to go. Nakata left, advising Masato to not bring Hitomi tomorrow because Sundays are rather busy. When he left, Masato noticed a crowd gathering at a zoo area. He went to the place and saw a giraffe getting transferred in front of many people. He also noticed a parrot and saw the workers, who were looking kind of gloomy. On the other hand, Nakata got scolded by the director because he let someone enter the cage. After getting scolded, when he went to see Hanayo, she tried to console him. The next day, Masato met Hitomi in front of Fuji Station. Hitomi saw him and said that he has grown real big. Masato also said the same thing, but not to her height or age, but to those bouncy things. While walking, they talked with each other about the old days and slowly went toward the zoo. When they reached the entry place, there was no one to check tickets or to stop them. So Masato just jumped the pole and went to the other side. Hitomi was worried at first, thinking if it's really okay to do this, but in the end, she also entered. Surprisingly, there was no one inside the zoo. Not even a single person or animal inside the cages. They walked around wondering why there's no one here. Hitomi was getting worried as she asked Masato that they should leave and wait for someone to come and open the zoo. When they were about to leave with a sad face, they heard a loud shout. In front of them, there was a guy running toward them while panting really hard. Immediately after that man asked for help, some animals jumped at him and started eating him alive. Hitomi was shocked to see that and was about to run toward the man to help, but Masato stopped her. He called her a dumb girl and told her that there's no way for a human to win against a wild beast. Masato asked her to run with him, but for some reason, she froze in place. When Masato looked at her face, he saw that she was really scared. She just said one word, the face. Masato didn't waste a moment and started running with Hitomi. He thought that she was talking about how those animals are gnawing on the man's face. So he told her that they don't have the time to stand there and watch. While they were leaving, an oversized cat that was eating the man revealed an evil smirk. Masato and Hitomi ran at full speed while calling Nakata's name. After some running, they reached the cage where Hanayo is locked. When he looked inside the cage, he saw Nakata on the ground. But Nakata isn't the only one inside the cage, the director is also in it. He ran toward Masato and asked him to open the cage. Without wasting a moment, Masato opened the door. But when the door opened, instead of leaving, the director just smiled while being taken away by an elephant. Masato started shouting, asking Hanayo to stop. Suddenly, he heard Nakata's voice asking for help. Seeing Nakata injured on the ground, Masato got really angry and asked Hanayo what she's doing. But when he looked at Hanayo's face, he wasn't able to say a thing. In front of him was a horrifying sight. For some reason, this elephant's face had turned into a human one. Not just that, she also called Masato's name. Hanayo was holding that director's head in her trunk. She threw that away and tried to break free from the cage while saying to Masato, "I'm coming." Immediately, Masato started calling Hitomi, suggesting that they should run away now. But Hitomi was so scared that she wasn't even able to move. So, Masato gave her a slap on the face to bring her back to her senses. After coming back, she pointed at Nakata who was barely alive. To save him, They made a plan in which Misato will distract Hanayo while Hitomi will rescue Nakata from the cage. At that moment, Hanayo broke the bars and started chasing Misato while calling his name. Behind him, Hitomi acted quickly and rescued Nakata from the cage. Outside, Misato ran as fast as he could, and after some running he suddenly changed his direction toward the cage where Hitomi and Nakata are. While turning, Misato was about to get squashed by Hanayo, but Hanayo didn't squash him. Instead, she crushed another staff member right behind him. Seeing that, he ran back to the cage at full speed and entered it. Hanayo came behind him at full speed and crashed into the cage's bars. Taking the chance, they loaded Nakata in the cart and started running away. After some running, Misato heard a human voice. He looked on the other side of the bushes and saw a person who was running toward the exit at full speed, just like Misato. Misato was happy, thinking he'd be able to meet another human. But when they crossed the bushes and saw the person, they were terrified to see that the one who was running right beside them wasn't a human, but a giraffe with a human face. And that giraffe also had a human hand in its mouth. Misato and Hitomi didn't stop after seeing the giraffe, they kept running. But at that moment, many different animals with human faces started chasing them. Right then, Hitomi pointed at the shutter door and told Misato that it's slowly closing. Still, Misato didn't even think of stopping. He just thought about when his favorite place had turned into a hell like this. As they got closer to the exit, Hitomi was getting more worried because the gate had already closed. So to go out, they had to find a different way. At that moment, they spotted an elephant tunnel. Without thinking, they headed toward it at full speed. They sat inside the cart and slid on top of the tunnel. Like that, they were sent flying outside the zoo. They landed outside completely fine, while all the animals were stuck inside the zoo. Right then, one of the animals said something, "Hey, Hajimaru." They started walking on the road and surprisingly, there was no one on the road. Misato asked Hitomi to call the hospital because they had to make Nakata regain consciousness. Immediately after he said that, Nakata woke up and asked about his location. Seeing him waking up, Misato got really angry and threw him on the road. He asked Nakata about those strange animals and asked him what happened in the zoo. Before he could answer, Hitomi stopped Misato and told him that Nakata was unconscious just a moment ago, so they should first find a place to rest. Misato agreed immediately and invited them to his place. While they were walking, Nakata asked Misato how he got here because this morning he was going to be killed in Hanayo's cage. Misato didn't answer and asked him to rest first. When they reached the place, they saw a little puppy. Misato told them that his landlord keeps this puppy as a pet. They slowly went toward the puppy, wondering if it also has a human face or not. Nakata reached the puppy first, and when he was about to pick it up, Misato shouted from behind, asking him to stop. But Nakata still picked it up, and it didn't have a human face. Hitomi got really happy and immediately hugged the puppy. They all petted the puppy one by one, and after a while, they let it go. Nakata decided to give it one last pet before entering the place. But when he was about to do that, a goat with a human face entered the scene. It said 2 words, "Noisy bunch." The goat pounced forward and bit the puppy. Taking the chance, Misato grabbed Nakata and entered the house. After entering the house, Nakata asked if that wasn't a hallucination. He revealed that he also saw those things last winter in the zoo. Hearing that, Misato realized that Nakata knew something and asked him to tell them. So, Nakata started explaining. He said that he first realized something was odd when they got a new director in the zoo. Right after the change, the new director made it a duty to have a health checkup every month. It was just yesterday for this month. For both animals and employees simultaneously, it's called a friendly health checkup. Other than blood tests, there's also a vaccination, exactly the same every time. However, after that day of every month, there'd definitely be a few animals acting strange in their cage. The amount of visitors also increased. Then one day, Nakata saw it. The appearance of the weasel that should be transported to a vet hospital soon. It had something like a face. Hearing the story, Misato realized that if all the animals had the health checkup, that means Hanayo also. Realizing that, Nakata was really angry and started cursing that director. At that moment, Hitomi looked outside and told them that the goat was gone. They immediately went outside and saw that the poor little puppy was really injured. Right now, they couldn't do anything about the puppy, so they just buried it under some leaves and left the place to see the police. But when they left, a crying voice came out from under the leaves. Under the leaves, the little puppy was alive, and now also had a human face. In a random house, a girl woke up to eat her meal. When she looked at the food, she demanded from her mom to cook something else. But instead of seeing her whole mom, she just saw her mom's head getting eaten by an animal. Meanwhile, Misato and his gang are trying to call the police, but no one picked up the phone. While Nakata was walking in front, Hitomi told Misato that Nakata's face mark looked similar to the one that they saw on Hanayo's face. Hearing that, Misato asked about the bandage on Nakata's arm. Nakata took out the bandage and revealed that he got injected several times during the usual friendly health checkup. He said that they do it every time, but it really sucks. Before Misato said anything, Nakata answered that they're being used. He told them that he wanted to talk to the director for a long time. But when he started doubting or raising opinions about the experiment, he, who was a chief, was demoted to only taking care of Hanayo. But he's not the only one. The old staff also quit after some mysterious personnel change. The new staff look as if they don't care about the animals. And finally, yesterday, the manager demoted Nakata to just a cleaner. Nakata was so angry that he wanted to kill the director. Next, Misato asked about what happened to the new staff. Nakata answered that they were killed. Moreover, the ones who did that are... He stopped midway because he realized something. He saw with a serious face, they reap what they sow. Animals killed all the workers for their revenge towards the human race. Hearing that, Misato remembered the time he spent with Hanayo, and the time he had to leave her because of his parents. Earlier, when Hanayo was chasing Misato, he thought that she was going to crush him, but instead, she missed on purpose and stomped on the head of one of the workers. After walking for a while, they reached the police station, but it was completely destroyed. While they were talking about what to do, Misato saw someone near the broken window. Right then, Misato decided to enter the building alone. He ran inside after asking Nakata and Hitomi to hide somewhere. When he entered the building, he looked around the rooms and found a police officer. Seeing him, the policeman told him about a human-faced deer that destroyed everything. The policeman said that his legs are trembling and asked Misato to help him go out. But before they even took a step, the deer arrived there. They both thought at the same time that this is bad. Surprisingly, the deer didn't attack them, but started eating papers. Seeing that, Misato thought that its character as a normal deer didn't change even after gaining a human face. Aside, deer are essentially animals that don't have a strong sense of territory. While Misato was thinking that, the policeman pointed the gun at the deer. And before Misato could stop him, he shot the bullet at it. But the deer was so fast that it dodged the bullet and ran to attack the policeman. Outside, when Hitomi heard the gunshot, she decided to enter the building to see what was going on, but Nakata stopped her. He said that if they got caught by an animal, they'll be in big trouble, so they can only believe in Misato. Inside the building, Misato's stomach got pierced by one of the deer's horns. As his stomach got pierced, he noticed a tag stuck on the deer's horn. Seeing that, Misato asked the deer if its name was June. Then, Misato said sorry to the deer. Misato said that it wasn't supposed to be like this. Surprisingly, the deer was about to pull its horn out of Misato's stomach. Right then, the policeman started kicking the deer again and again. While kicking, he shouted that he's a policeman. He's angry because an animal is daring to defy a human. With that, the policeman shot the deer in the head and killed it. Because of that, Misato got really angry and grabbed the policeman from the collar. Misato told the policeman that the deer understood his words, so why did he shoot it? The policeman answered that he was just trying to protect him. At that moment, they realized that the deer was still alive. It looked toward them and said, "Die. Humanity is done for." As it was just barely alive, it died after saying that. Right then, the policeman looked outside and saw that many deers were coming toward the police station. He realizes that if more deers gather here, he'll most likely die. Then, the policeman asked Misato if he had acquaintances outside. Misato answered yes, and the policeman decided to meet them and get bandages for Misato. Outside, Hitomi checked the time and said that it's been some time since Misato entered. At that moment, Misato and the policeman arrived outside. Hitomi and Nakata saw them and immediately ran toward them. When Hitomi reached closer, she noticed a wound on Misato's stomach and asked him what happened. He didn't tell how he got it and just told her that the policeman saved him. Leaving that aside, the policeman told them that they have to get out of here quickly because many deer are coming here following the gunshot. Then, Misato said to Nakata that he wasn't able to save June the deer. Hearing that, Nakata said that it doesn't matter right now. As Nakata said that, the policeman talked, saying to Misato that he didn't know if he liked that deer or not, but if he hadn't shot it back then. Before he could complete the sentence, Misato started shouting, saying his words reached the deer. He was pulling out his horn and then the policeman shot him. Saying that, he walked toward Hitomi and Nakata while calling the policeman incompetent. The policeman had a gloomy face after hearing that. He didn't comment on what Misato said and suggested to them that for the time being, they should hide themselves from the deers. He pointed toward the patrol car and told them that that car is most likely still usable. He asked them to get in the car and get out of here, while he himself was becoming a decoy and protecting the civilians. They hesitated to leave the policeman behind, but the policeman insisted that they go. As they moved toward the car, the police told them that the key was already inserted and if somehow got out of here alive, they should let him in the car. He also told them that if the engine doesn't start, they should press button 4 to 8 under the radio. With that, he started shouting, luring the deers toward himself. Inside the car, Nakata was in the driving seat and did just as the policeman told them. But as he pressed the buttons that the policeman told them to press, the sirens started. They were really shocked. They did just as the policeman told them, but the sirens started instead of the engine. Because of the loud noise of the siren, All the deers started coming toward them. At that moment, the policeman came out of the police station's garage with a working car. He rode the car and ran away from there while smiling at Nakata and his group. Seeing that, they realized that they've got used as a decoy. As they were cursing the policeman, deers started jumping on their car. One of the deer came from the front and broke the window. Nakata was holding the deer with its legs to not let it enter. At that moment, someone shouted, asking them to get down. As the voice stopped, the deer was sent flying with wounds all over. This bald guy is the one who saved them. He asked Nakata and his group to get out of that car and come toward him. They did just that and entered the bald man's truck. Without wasting a moment, the old man turned on the engine and left at full speed. At the backside of the truck, Nakata and his group were sitting. They were worried about Masato because his wounds are opening up again. It turns out that the policeman did a really bad job applying bandages on Masato's wound. Then, Hitomi asked the bald man named Yamamura if there's any hospital nearby. Yamamura answered that the hospital nearby isn't good. He rubbed the kid's head who was sitting beside him and said that his grandchild also got attacked by the animals back at home and got wounded. He headed to the closest hospital in the area, but it's in the same state as the police station before. The grandchild's name is Toshiki. Yamamura said sorry for not being able to protect him from those monkey monsters. But he asked Toshiki to worry not because they're heading to the designated shelter at school. There will definitely be 1 or 2 doctors, so he should leave everything to his grandpa. At that moment, they noticed the patrol car in which that policeman left the police station. The car was completely destroyed and the policeman was getting strangled by some kangaroos. Immediately, Masato asked Yamamura to accelerate. But that didn't help because the kangaroo jumped 13 meters while holding the policeman. After reaching near the car, it threw the policeman inside the truck. Masato was worried thinking that the kangaroo will catch up to them next. But surprisingly, they didn't move and just said, "Carry that thing." A moment later, they entered the town. Shockingly, the town was completely destroyed. Blood trails were on the ground with no signs of any animal or human. Seeing the scene, they realized that the animal monsters reached this place and destroyed it. Immediately, Hitomi got really worried because her mother's house is nearby. Next, they reached the school shelter and left the truck to enter it. Yamamura was holding his grandchild as he asked Nakata and his group to come behind him. Nakata and Hitomi worked together to take out Masato from the truck. Then, they both held one arm of Masato each and walked toward the shelter. They thought that they'll be able to get first aid for Masato in the shelter. At that moment, they saw something horrifying. They saw that Toshiki's lower body was completely gone. His intestines were splattered on the road while Yamamura was taking him to the shelter. Even though Toshiki is dead, Yamamura is still holding him like Toshiki is alive. He said that he'll get Toshiki examined first. They still didn't say anything to Yamamura. They decided to stay shut and just follow behind. As they were walking toward the entrance of the shelter, they heard a loud shout. They realized that it's coming from the gym and hurried there. At that place, they saw human meat. Seeing the scene, Hitomi fell to the ground saying she doesn't understand what is going on anymore. Right then, they saw a figure that looked like a person. But when the figure got closer, they realized it was chimpanzees. Nakata quickly grabbed the injured Masato and started running away when they heard a shout. They looked behind and saw Hitomi getting grabbed by chimpanzees. Without thinking, Masato jumped toward a chimpanzee and pushed it away to save Hitomi. Because of this, his wound got even worse. Both Masato and Hitomi were now surrounded by chimpanzees. At that moment, Yamamura arrived there and he was really angry. His grandchild died at the hands of these chimpanzees, that's why he's this angry. He asked Nakata to get down as he pointed his shotgun toward the chimpanzees. The problem is, both Masato and Hitomi are surrounded by chimpanzees, and in his anger, Yamamura can't differentiate them from chimpanzees. They try to tell him that they're humans, but they don't listen. Right then, Yamamura loaded his gun and shot at chimpanzees. Luckily, he missed the shot which gave Masato and his group the chance to run away. As they were running, Yamamura looked at them and asked them to stop while calling them monkeys. At that moment, chimpanzees that were surrounding Masato and Hitomi before attacked Yamamura. They first made a big cut in his neck and then surrounded him to kill him slowly. Meanwhile, Masato and his group are hiding behind a wall. Nakata looked toward chimpanzees and saw them slowly slaughtering the old man. He said that chimpanzees practice cannibalism among themselves, feeding on the smaller ones. It's quite brutal. But those things they had seen at that time were without a doubt human-handled as meat. But instead of feeling brutal, he felt quite calm. Moreover, he guessed that the ones hanging there are the people from the town. They can't believe that animals from the zoo did all that. Right then, Masato heard a voice from a room. He slowly headed toward that room and what he saw shocked him. He saw through the window that a big dog with a human face and many small dogs were reading books. Seeing the scene, they wondered if they were trying to broaden their knowledge. Suddenly, Nakata realized something else. He tells them that most of the animals here aren't from the safari. If they were from the safari, he would have known all of them. As he was saying that, the dogs from inside the class spotted them and jumped outside to attack them. They immediately got overwhelmed by so many dogs. Suddenly, Masato saw that the dog who's attacking him is none other than the one they thought died back in the house. Masato asked the dog the reason why he has a human face and why he is doing this. The dog answered that he was told to kill humans. At that moment, all the dogs ran away for some reason. As they left, Masato heard a voice. He looked outside and saw Hanayo the elephant is here. When Masato called that elephant Hanayo, Nakata couldn't believe it. Masato then told him that that face and voice belonged to the same Hanayo whom they saw this morning at Safari. The more shocking thing for Nakata was that Hanayo's face looks exactly like his. He asked Masato the reason for that, but Masato didn't know anything. Anyhow, thanks to Hanayo's trumpeting, the animals stopped attacking them. Masato thought that she's coming to save them, but as she got close, Nakata realized that she's not stopping and was about to crash into the school. Immediately, he grabbed Masato and ran as far as he could. After she crashed into the wall and entered the school, Nakata acted quickly. He immediately helped Hitomi to get up and asked if it's really Hanayo, how she broke out of the cage. Hitomi guessed that she broke the cage, but Nakata couldn't believe it because that cage is really hard to break as it is specialized for elephants. She continued, saying that when they first went there, Hanayo was also forcing her way out of the cage. Suddenly, Hanayo talked, it's overflowing. Something she's never felt before. This sensation. To trample, to flail, to run around, that is it, this is life. Without wasting a moment, they started running away. As the school's ceiling wasn't high enough, Hanayo wasn't able to follow them smoothly, but she still kept on chasing them. Nakata and his group were really close to the emergency exit when Hanayo suddenly stopped moving. They were really confused wondering why she stopped moving. Still, they know that it's dangerous staying here, so they decided to leave. Right then, Hanayo threw a big piece of rock toward them. The rock was about to hit Hitomi, but she luckily dodged it. That rock then hit the emergency exit door and bent it. Nakata tried to open the door, but it didn't budge because it's bent. At that moment, Masato tried to use Talk no Jutsu. He faced Hanayo and reminded her that she was so kind to everybody, and asked her why she's doing something like this. Hanayo asked her if this was some kind of vengeance. He asked her to tell him if something happened to her. Hearing all that, Hanayo said, "Whatever you say, I don't care." She said that she's feeling very ecstatic right now. Since she's become like this, she's come to remember a lot of things from when she doesn't have any senses. Something like, what I've been until now. And then she realized, why was she even doing that? She looked toward Masato and said, "You people are scary." She continued, saying it's true that back then, even if she did nothing, she still got food to eat. And there were times when she felt content being the center of attention. But since she's got this face, she has realized a lot more scary things about humans. When she left her cage for the first time, there were people explaining the things on the information sign about the pitiable elephant of the safari. During the war, for some reasons, Hanayo's grandfather was forced to drink poisons and killed by humans he trusted. She trembled. Why are our lives threatened by these tiny beings? Then she pointed at Masato and asked him why he thinks he can do as he pleases with them. She called him the most dangerous one to them. She was confused and failed back then, but now, this time she won't let him. Before she finished, Masato apologized to her. After realizing how she felt all this time, he apologized and said that he didn't know anything, not about the friendly health checkup, nor about the safari's modification during the past 7 years. And he was frightened of her all along. Then, he asked her to tell him what he should do. He said that he wanted to save her, and other animals. Hearing that, Hanayo told him there's no running back now, see you. As she said that, she had already picked up the rock and was about to hit Masato on the head to kill him. Subscribe for the next part.